You have all the drama, that you don't have in the East regarding your subject matter, which is nice.
Do you mind if I stand?
You can do whatever you wish.
Okay.
We like your style, Georgia.
Yeah, I
Yes.
like to see. I paint a lot of florals, but I feel challenged by landscapes.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to approach it.
It's kind of overwhelming to look at that much space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paint landscapes. I'm a big believer. I tell my students, paint your passion, paint what it is that you have a passion for, meaning the subject matter, of course. And for me, it's landscapes, because I grew up on a subsistence farm, which many of us are familiar with back in the 40s and 50s. A lot of people in the rural areas had chickens and a steer, at least, milk cow and so forth, and grew all our own vegetables. So that's how I grew up on 100 acres, and most of it was wilderness. So for me to get up and go hiking up into the mountains where there's nobody around and go fishing in the natural brooks and so forth for trout was a big treat, for me.
Yeah.
And excuse me, so I have that passion. And of course, when you go out west, everything is breathtaking.
Yes.
Oh.
If you look at a train crossing in front of you here, you might see 3 or 4 cars. But if you go to the southern plains, you can be out there and there'll be 200-car trains going in opposite directions. And it's amazing to see that. It blows your mind. And it's I understand why the Indians fought so hard for their land, because it truly, out west, it is so breathtaking, so beautiful.
Absolutely.
And I never get tired of it.
So what is this pink color? The red.
The red here, I've got a combination of a permanent red light, which is Royal Talons, and a combination of a pyro orange, which is a pretty color. Orange is, the company asked me a number of years ago to do 80 some colors on 1.5 by inch Winsor and Newton, not Winsor and Newton, but Arch bright white watercolor paper. Okay, and they were to go at the bottom of the racks of the paints in the stores. So when you saw that color on that white paper, it was identical to the tube. Most companies don't do that. If you look at the bottom, they're a computer printout.
Yeah.
The colors are not matching. So somebody said, how long did it take you? I said, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. They said, didn't that drive you crazy? I said, they gave me a couple of 100 tubes of paint at $15, $20 a tube. Are you crazy? I would stand on my head and do it. So anyway, long story short, I did it, and it was fun to do, because every time I get to a great color like this orange, put it on that bright white paper, I'd run to the other side of the house and said, Bonnie, you got to see this color. Oh my God, look at that orange.
Wow.
Is that a beautiful orange?
That is
That's
beautiful.
That's pyro orange. Yeah, absolutely.
You need a pencil?
Yes.
I can do that for
Familiar
you.
with the red light, so I like that
Isn't that
addition.
beautiful?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What is
That's
it? You said it was a cadmium red light?
No, it's called a permanent red,
Oh, permanent.
permanent red
Permanent
deep by Van Gogh.
No, it's Van Gogh.
Van Gogh.
I have visited the Southwest, and that is the color.
Yeah.
That is the color of the red.
What
lights.
happened was in 1990, I mentioned to you I was working with the illustrators at Disney,
Does it work?
and I did
piece of paper? No.
I did
I could not find any throat lozenges anywhere around.
okay,
I found everything else.
Everything and so anyway,
I can give you some sheets of this if you'd like.
This is good job. I'll put it up. Oh, thank you.
I did 18 commissioned paintings for the Disney's corporate offices in 1990 and 1900s, 19 something, and 1990s. And so we went out and we talked to the artists there about the Van Gogh watercolors, which I've got here. And we mentioned to them that these were Van Gogh's student grade. And of course, the artists out there knew me at the time. That's not student grade paint, that's artist grade paint. And they know their paints, the Disney artists. And they still use them. They use them today. They've actually, I've seen them in some of their movies. They'll flash their paints on the screen and so forth. They still use them today, the Van Gogh paints. And you can get them from Jerry's Autorama for about $3 a tube. They're 10 milliliter tube. So do the math. 20 mil is $6 versus 16 or 20 or 30 for a tube of paint of any of the real popular, famous ones. Yeah. But that's how I got that red, so. I'm surprised I don't have more people here.
Me
I do
too.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised.
I thought they would have a good turnout today. It's a Saturday and painting demonstration is going on and they're gonna have some snacks, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Oh, well, their loss, not mine. Now, you ladies live pretty close to here?
I live in Port Orange.
You're up in Port Orange, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not far up the road. It's
No,
close.
it's not far.
We go up there to shop a lot. Port Orange.
It's amazing.
Lovely.
You
We're
like?
checking back in.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we're starting to put in some of the lipstick and earrings here.
I'm gonna run down to the house and get some coffee.
Yeah, and there's tons of them there's a bag of them under my table where I sit and in that drawer.
Back in a few minutes.
Yeah, and then do me another favor if you would, honey. Bonnie,
Yeah.
those boxes that are under the shrink wrap machine, just get maybe
Oh,
3 or
okay.
4 nice
That's what he's
prizes
painting.
out of there, and I'll do the drawings for them.
Okay.
I forgot to bring them this morning.
All right.
All right, thanks, honey.
That's different, yeah. Fabulous.
And Georgette, you're a watercolorist as well?
I am.
Very
I
cool.
have been an artist my whole life, but I had to earn a living because I was divorced and I had 2 children.
Oh, wow.
So I worked in agencies and design firms and things like that.
That's amazing.
Then I moved here. I dabbled, a little bit of watercolor, a little bit of, but I was never able to really dive into it. So when I
Mhm.
moved here, I joined the artist workshop. I took a watercolor workshop from a woman from the west coast of Florida. She
Wonderful.
was fabulous, and I was hooked. I was
Yeah.
hooked. Every single extra dollar went to buying paint and
Yeah.
paper, and
Yeah. Feeding the passion.
And I could do flowers. That was sort of intuitive to me.
Right. Do you
I
still?
don't know why you say paint what you love,
Yeah.
and maybe I just have to accept that.
Yeah.
I think that's important because it will show in the end, if you're painting something that you don't have a passion for, a subject it will show it because it's a struggle for you. Your heart's not in it. But if it's something you have passion for, like in my case, the landscapes, it shows. I've had a lot of people say, Tom, why are you living in the East? I mean, obviously your heart's in the West. And it is, quite frankly. I think if I had to,
I mean, look at that painting.
Yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
yeah, that's a Florida scene there.
yeah.
And, but it's, I have a passion for landscape. It just is one of those things.
Well, maybe I just need to give that up.
I paint flowers.
I like
Yeah.
flowers. Yeah.
My passion changes from day to day.
Oh, does it?
So I have to paint fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Your latest passion is.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've got to get the painting out before the passion fades and I'm on to the next.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now, I think the other thing too is that I paint every day and I tell my students, but the one thing I have to remember about my students is that this is not a career for them.
Mhm.
They're going there basically to socialize,
Right.
right?
It's community.
That's it. They're going to socialize and they're going to paint. They like to paint, but they're not interested. I often said they're not interested in learning how to paint. They're interested in painting.
Right.
See,
That's the difference.
because there's nothing wrong with that, but that's because of their age, where they are in their life. You see, if they're in their 70s and 80s, they're not looking at starting a career in the art world. They've already had careers. But to them, the passion is in the painting itself. But it's fun. I mean, I enjoy. I got some people been coming to me for 30 some years, 40 years in St. Augustine, because St. Augustine is just a great town. The reason I teach in St. Augustine is many years ago, 30 years ago, I had a lot of friends like Tom Lynch and some of the other ones, Nita Engel and so forth. When you went to their workshops, it would cost you an arm and a leg. You'd have to put a second mortgage on your house to go sometimes. And by the time you paid the hotel and the class and the transportation. And I thought, that's great for some of the folks, but there's got to be a better way for the folks who can't afford to do that. So I thought, well, I'm going to pick a location that's really unique and different and special. So I picked St. Augustine. Why? Because it's the oldest city in America. Okay. It has an ambiance to die for.
Absolutely.
If you love anything about history or the European flavor, great restaurants that are on every level that people can afford, great or hotels on every level people can afford. And it was not an expensive city to visit or spend time in. And then I said, okay, what do I want to do as far as fees? Well, I charged $195 for a 5-day workshop.
Wow, that's a
Wow.
deal.
And then I went down to 4 days because I got older and my students got older. So then I went down to 4 days and stayed at $195. This year I moved it up to $350, but still that's like a third of what most people would charge for a 4-day workshop.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
And-
4 days.
And the reason for it is I don't do it for the money. I do it for the friendship, obviously. I mean, I make money doing it, of course, but that's not my main goal. These people have become longtime friends, over all these years. So that's the thing. So St. Augustine has become very special, and I have people come from all over the country. And I had one lady who came to every single workshop, and then she was going to miss one because she had stage 4 breast cancer, and she beat it.
Oh,
But when she had the cancer, she had never missed a workshop, and she was one of those people that she had her favorite place that she sat. Nobody could sit where she sat in class every year, same place. And so I went and bought a blow-up doll, and I had a setup for her. And I bought a red wig because she had red hair. Her name was Paula, sweetheart, long gone. Her and her husband both gone, longtime friends. And so she shows up. I didn't know she was going to do that. She showed up. Of course, she cried when she saw the setup.
Oh.
We were going to take a picture and send her the picture. So she said, we had lunch with them a lot. They lived in Orlando. So we had lunch with them at the Little Saigon restaurant. And she said, I got to get back to the house. I said, I'm helping Jean. We're going to do some weeding. I said, Jean, Paula, it's 95 degrees. You just had chemo this morning. She says, I don't care. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die on my feet. That was her spirit. She lived another 10 years.
Wow,
Marvelous.
that's amazing.
Yeah. And, but that's the kind of person, the students I had and so forth. She couldn't remember your name. She'd always call you Harry. But just a lovely person. But, those are the kind of relationships, I've built over the years. And I have one lady, she's almost passed away 3 times, but she comes to she says, Tom, I don't care. If they have to bring me there in a hearse, I'm coming. So she's out of Denver, and so she'll be there.
Is there a place to stay near?
Oh,
this?
yeah, there's lots of hotels. We give you a list. So
Oh, okay.
we got this broken down pretty professionally. So we give you a list of everything, restaurants and hotels and so forth, reasonable stuff, and best places to stay and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, we make it easy for you. You don't have to go out on your own search for things. Okay?
Yeah.
And then we get together. We get together with the students because we'll have 25 students at these workshops. I cut it off with it. I could have 30 or 40, but I have to cut it off someplace. But we go out, so we finish the day, and what we'll do is we'll get together, and I finish at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So we do from 8:30 to 1. Okay. Why do I stop at 1? Because we're not 15 years old any longer.
Right.
Okay. And in the afternoon, you get a little sleepy. So for the students, they can break at 1. You can go nap. You can go have a nice lunch. You can visit with friends. You can shop. You can sightsee. Do whatever you want to do. And then the next day, you're nice and fresh. So, but we'll get together. We'll go have a drink together if they want. And then for dinner. We go to nice restaurants and have dinner and so forth. So it's always a lot of fun. It's a fun thing, and it has to be fun. You know, if it's not fun, then we'll do something else. But but it's just a lot of fun.
And I've got a little Facebook Live going here, and we've got Joan Loomis watching. Can you tell me what you're working on again, Tom?
I'm working on a scene from Yellowstone National Parks, and this happens to be the lower falls of Yellowstone, which is a very famous subject to paint. And everybody who goes to Yellowstone, they go to the lower falls. Thomas Moran, the famous landscape painter, who they consider responsible for the person who actually got Yellowstone to be the first national park, because when they saw his 11-foot by 14-foot painting of the lower falls, magnificent oil, which hangs in Congress, in the halls of Congress. When they saw that, that's when they decided they're going to make this as a national park. So it's just a wonderful place to paint and visit. And you'd have to spend a month in Yellowstone because it's so big to enjoy all of the scenery. Because the buffalo are there. The surviving 24 buffalo that were finally left, the originals, were in Yellowstone. Now there's hundreds. There are thousands there. But it's just wonderful to go there and see all the magnificent wildlife and scenery and everything. So for me, the West is pretty important.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So I'm using this Pyro Orange, which I love. And I like most artists. I know that you've all had teachers who have said the same thing to you that I'll say, is that exaggerate when you're painting. Exaggerate the color, exaggerate the subject matter. In other words, remember this: you're not a painter, you're an entertainer. He or she who entertains the best keeps the audience the longest. Okay? And so remember that. So exaggerate when you paint.
Just a heads up, we do have a lizard in the gallery. That
I'm
doesn't.
sorry?
We have a lizard in the gallery.
I see it.
Yeah.
He's sophisticated,
He
isn't he?
seems to like to hang out over there. We
Yeah.
haven't, escorted him out
You'll
yet.
find him all dried up on the floor.
Oh,
one
yeah.
day.
I'll add it to my collection.
Well, it's obvious he likes art.
You buy a painting, you might get a free lizard.
Yeah, give you the lizard.
It could be a door prize.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I like the way you think, Georgette. And we are in our new gallery on Magnolia, which does have a restroom, which is an upgrade. So if anyone needs to use the restroom,
Oh, yeah.
does
Oh,
anyone?
my gosh.
Oh, what a world!
I spent a lot of time volunteering in that gallery. And
Yes.
I know the trek to the restroom was like, oh, do I have to go? Do I have
Up
to
the stairs, it has across the.
And am I gonna set off the alarm?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are so grateful for this space.
Yeah.
And thank you, Tom Jones, for your time and your heart and your talent. I forgot the
And
talent.
you
We're
wore
having-
the perfect shirt today. Look at that.
Yeah. This is, we're gonna grab a photo of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're just perfect, Tom.
You like that shirt, huh?
Yes.
it's perfect.
And that is Laura Robinson behind him with Live with a Row on top of the sea grapes.
Yeah,
Laura Robinson's a former president.
I love her.
Isn't she amazing?
She's amazing.
With this transition, she did everything from gardening to tree trimming to washing the windows.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
So what's the latest on what's going to happen?
Here, still in a month to month.
Okay.
Yes, we are, looking to start the conversation to purchase this property. I think it would
What has
be
happened?
nothing at this time, no.
Okay.
It's still in this place, but the 3-story brick building did sell
Okay.
across the street to a private
Oh, it
owner.
did.
It did, so we lost another option.
Yeah, I can say you had your heart set on that.
I know, that could have been something really special. But I think at this time, it really looks like talking about this property, because it would be a really magical moment to
It
see.
would be nice to use this. It's so bright.
It's so bright.
Yeah.
It's got just enough space for us. It's not overbuilding, really sustainability is our goal for the workshop. So, but we should be here till the end of the year, but yeah, that conversation's coming very quickly to talk about what it looks like. But we love our landlord, Jay Pendergast, who's the architect on Canal Street. And so, yeah, he just fenced in the lot behind us for a paid parking lot, so that's been
Oh.
renovated for him.
Wow.
Yeah, so we will see. Ooh, cool car right there. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just love this area. We're really focused on keeping the opportunity.
So when will the parking lot be finished?
Well, I think he's keeping it unpaved. So I think really with that fence being put in place, the QR code is how he's running payment. So it's
Oh, okay.
active. And
Oh, is it?
yeah, I believe
Oh, okay.
it's $5 a day, perhaps, and 50 a month, maybe.
That's a
pretty
good deal.
Yeah, he's really a wonderful guy. Has always been a patron of the arts and used to support Images of Us for the Arts heavily with me. So yeah, just hang tight. We are definitely making history at the workshop.
Yeah, the mayor had some nice things to say about him.
Yes. Mayor Fred Cleveland.
Yeah.
We did speak with him as well, and our city manager Kevin Cowper we met with. So we're very hopeful, and you know, just last year the residents voted art into the city charter. Over 3,000 residents voted in that special election, and we are now officially in the Constitution of the city of New Smyrna Beach to honor and preserve arts and culture in New Smyrna. So that's really uplifting, I think, especially being the oldest arts education nonprofit here. We are very foundational of that. So, you
Oh,
know,
that's huge.
it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And later this month on July 31st, we're actually running a 12-hour telethon in style of like Jerry Lewis, you know? So it'll be on YouTube Live, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., filmed live here in the gallery. And we'll have amazing artists, hopefully like Tom Jones doing appearances, Patrick Rausch, Ruth Squateri, lots of different artists popping through. So we're gonna, you know, keep on swinging and enjoying art together.
I remember seeing his last telethon. It was fabulous.
Yes. Oh, he really was quite an entertainer,
It
huh?
was pretty special when, you know, there was a sort of kissing and making up between him and Dean Martin.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
Yes.
And I think it was Frank Sinatra that got them together.
Wow, isn't that something? Yeah, I miss the days of the telethon and the phone
It was
banks.
great.
Is that a little tree that we're
Yeah,
adding?
I'm going to start adding some trees in here.
Wonderful.
Start giving it, start to anchor this thing.
Yeah, get in there, Jane.
I've done this painting probably 20 times on various sizes and so forth. Thomas Moran, the famous Thomas Moran, I talk to him like I know him, even though he's been dead for 100 years. But he's done it dozens of times as well. It was one of his favorite subjects. And he went out there with a with a crew that was sent by the government to survey the area, and they wanted to once and for all find out whether or not Yellowstone was the stories of a bunch of drunks, or whether it actually existed as they presented it. And turns out it was as magical as they said it was.
That's good to know.
Interestingly, there was a photographer, famous photographer in those days, who actually was with the group. And of course, back then it was black and white photographs and so forth. And it was those big box cameras, you know, you had to carry them, they were 300 pounds. And Thomas Moran, the artist, and he became friends on that trip. And Thomas Moran would help him with his composition and so forth, and work with him, so he didn't feel like an outsider. And but it was Thomas Moran's paintings actually that sold to Congress on making Yellowstone a national park. I thought that
That's
was
the one
great.
you said that had the large oil in the congressional building?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's actually 11 feet. Can you imagine that? 11 feet
Oh,
by 14 feet.
Gosh,
Yeah.
that's a mural.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And yeah. But you know, if you go to the museums in the West, you know, in all the nice cities out there, these galleries and a lot of Western art, and you'll see a lot of the originals of Thomas Moran and Frederick Remington and so on. And, pretty fascinating stuff.
So where did you, when did you start painting?
I like a lot of artists, I guess, who are painting in their later years. I started when I was 4 or 5 years old. We're talking like the late 40s, early 50s. And my sisters were in high school at the time. They'd be at the dining room table doing their homework. And I would sketch the black and white sketches out of the dictionary.
Out of their what?
Out of the dictionary.
Oh.
And they thought they were pretty special. And of course, you know, when people pat you on the head, you always kind of light up, you know, and so forth. So I found that very flattering. And then from there, I went to school and I just enjoyed painting. And so it became popular and I painted throughout my life, basically. And of course, I was in the Marine Corps.
Always watercolor? or-
Mostly I did some oil and I painted oil up until a few years ago and I just quit doing that. And so I did both, but watercolor mainly. Yeah, watercolor is my business. Yeah. I remember, I think I was in the 5th grade maybe, and had a crush on this student, this girl. And every Memorial Day you did a poster, and they would give you like a $10 government bond. Back then, I guess that was a lot of money back then, early 50s. So she couldn't do one. She couldn't paint. So I did one for her and she won.
Oh.
Hey, all right.
I don't remember her name.
Oh.
But I had a crush on her back then. You know?
It's a good story.
Yeah.
Was it Bonnie?
Wasn't Bonnie. No.
Oh.
Bonnie came many years later here
Oh.
in Florida. Yeah. Yeah.
Weren't you friends with some pretty famous people too? Robert Redford, is that
Yeah,
right?
Robert Redford. I studied at his place in Sundance, and then
I like that place. That's a beautiful aspen
it's a wonderful
forest
place.
up that area.
And from there, I studied with the grandson of the artistic grandson of Cirolo, the famous painter, and Joaquin Batista Cirolo, the Spanish painter of light. And then Matisse, his son, who's a friend of mine.
Wow.
And I've got a couple of his paintings, we're close friends. And interesting talking to them because they could tell you stories that only they would know.
Yeah.
And he talked about going to the bullfights with Picasso and his father and other artists and interesting things. And of course, Pablo knew them too, Pablo, my other teacher. And so I studied with them. And, you know, if you live long enough and you shake enough hands, you're going to meet the right people. That's the way life is.
And what is this color here that you're dipping into?
That is called dragon's blood.
Dragons.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now you hear these interesting stories. Let me tell you a little insight. So, dragon's blood. Well, our company executives say we're the only ones, and our salespeople, we're the only ones who have the color dragon's blood. You have the only color called dragon's blood, but pigments are pigments are pigments. Okay, we don't go to Mars to get pigments and go to Saturn to get it. They're all here. So they have the same pigments. They just have a different name on them. So Royal Talons calls it a different color. You know, it's called something red. You know, but that's what it is. It's basically it's a fancy reddish color, bright color for burnt sienna is what it is.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's a beautiful color. It really is. Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that pretty?
Mhm.
It's a wonderful color. I never get tired. You know what's interesting? I still get the same feeling when I get up in the morning and I put color on that white paper. I still get the same charge of the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. I did that when I was in the 8th grade in junior high, when my teacher introduced me to watercolor paper. Oh my God. And I still get that same thrill today.
I get a feeling of terror.
Do you? I get this like, oh my God, that is so gorgeous. You know? And it's just, to me, it's marvelous.
just facing like a large white piece of paper like
Oh, is that
that
right?
feels
An empty canvas.
intimidating.
That's what big brushes are for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's
Get
easy.
that-
It's
Get that on there quickly.
Move
easy for me to
fast.
say because I get all the paper I want, but
Yeah.
my feeling is that, well, just turn it over and start on the other side or scrub it off and keep going. It's like I always tell my students, when you get up in the morning, don't paint. Don't what? Don't paint. Why do you do it? You play. When you get up in the morning, just like any performing artist, you practice, you play, you warm up. Okay? So you start with colors on your palette and you start from there and you start working with different colors and so forth and invent new mixtures and so forth and play. And if you make a boo-boo when you're playing, it's like falling off your bike. You just brush your knees off and get back on the bike. Or if you fall out of the tree, likewise, you see. But if you start on a great masterpiece in the morning and you get halfway through and you mess it up, it's going to ruin the rest of your day.
It sounds familiar.
So my feeling is that what you should do is don't just paint, play, have fun playing, and it makes a difference because you'd be surprised how many great paintings came from playing.
I've taken a painting, I like to paint in the mornings because of the light.
Yeah.
So I'll get up and I can't wait to go in there and start, playing, painting and see what I'm coming up with.
Sure.
And sometimes I've painted an entire painting and then I didn't like it, so I painted it out and I repainted it over again.
Sure.
What do you use, acrylics or oil?
I start with watercolor.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I do acrylics on top of them, and sometimes I'll do acrylics and I'll put oils on top of those, or I'll do just an oil painting, or just acrylic, or just a watercolor. So, I don't know, it's whatever mood I'm in.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
I don't have a studio. I paint on my dining room table. I don't have,
That's hard.
I don't have like a space. I have to set it up.
Yeah.
That makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, that's a challenge there in itself.
But I live by myself, so I basically keep the stuff out on the table unless I have company,
Yeah.
But
Where do you live?
I live in Seawoods on Beachside here. It's about